Welcome back to Stationeers. And it's time to, well, remember this unit I had last episode, probably yesterday if you're watching current times. Well, I moved it, or at least I deconstructed it. Because we're going to move it indoors, I did get a good comment from someone saying, hey, maybe it wasn't the outside atmosphere that was causing the plant to die. Maybe it was the temperature of the gas inside the tanks themselves that were connected to it. And I looked at the temperature of the atmospheric tank, and it was actually fairly low, so it could well be just an entirely closed unit. We're not going to know until we actually well, even in here it probably won't matter, to be honest, because what's going to happen in here is the outside temperature of this room, the part that we're walking around in, is going to stay static anyway. So there are two ways you could do this. I think you could do this by just putting a passive vent, attaching it to the automated unit, and just using this room's atmosphere that's naturally CO2. Or we could just put fixed tanks on like before. And I think I'm going to use this water tank for the, there we go, water tank for one of the inputs. So that means I don't need canister storage for that. And I'm going to use canister storage for now, because I could always quickly swap that to this room's just by replacing it with a passive vent. And we have a nice, basically a disconnected system at that point. The only thing we need to do is make sure this room is a decent temperature, and we've already got a system that does that. So I don't need to actually have these inputs and outputs to this room just yet, unless I want this room to be breathable, which is a different objective now that we have this automated process. So why don't we get started then, and let's get this whole thing automated. Get this whole thing done, really. So where do we get started? Where did I put my bits and pieces? There is the unit. Okay, here it is. And if you remember, was it the water that was at the back? So we're going to rotate this around, because of the output at the back. In fact, is this at the back? This is the back. So yeah, we want, I sort of want to have it maybe facing this way. Leave a bit of room for, you know, to get past if I'm stood here, but otherwise, let's just take a look. Is this gonna require, is that our, that's our atmospheric. This is the front now. Okay. Let me just reverse that. We want the power to the back then. Oh, it doesn't have enough charge. Okay, let's go and get this recharged. We're probably going to need the drill quite a lot in this episode anyway, so may as well get it going. Depressurize and go to the outdoors. Yeah, let's just get this recharged. There we go. And get back inside. Almost a shame about the glass roof. Now that I've put a block on top of it, but cancel the pressurization. And there we go. So remember, you can't seem to point at the front of this to actually deconstruct it, only at the sides. But it's fine either way. So power is going to go to the back. That's what we have to decide to do. So that means this is to the front. Or that is the output side. So I think I'm going to have to put it the other way. You'll see why in a second, but I'll just move it one further over. And we'll run, this is the atmosphere? Yeah, it is the atmosphere. Okay, so we'll run the water pipe around the back and in. So I just need to pull up this, this flooring, I think. We're not going to need it just yet. And there we go. We'll just put that inside. And here's the water input. Yeah, it is. So we are going to need probably more pipe, and I'll make more of that. But for now, there's 2. And there's 3 in my backpack. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe. Let's just put a corner piece and a straight piece, just so a wire can go through that. And then, whoops, this way. Of course, I'm going to be 1 piece short. I'll do that off camera, but you get the idea. That's going to come in this side. And then we've got 2 outputs. And why the outputs facing this way? Well, because we're going to have a train of machinery going that way. Hopefully there'll be enough room, but let me show you what I'm thinking, and then I'll wire it up later. Let me just get this chute out of the way. Put a light over there. I'll probably put more on the ceiling, put some cladding in here so we get some more reflectivity, and the whole thing will look a little bit better when we do that. So, what have we got? We've got an input at the top which takes in seeds, and an output at the back which presumably produces said, well, well, the plant, I should say, in either case. So if we put 1 wheat in, maybe we'll get 2 out. If that's the case, what I think we need to do is, first of all, if we get 2 out at once, and I'm not sure if we will or not, if we do get 2 out at once when it hits harvest, then we want to split that. We want to make sure that only 1 at once is coming out. So to do that, we're going to want a stacker. So we can put the stacker wherever we like, as long as it's behind here. So let's just flip this around. And we can put it further away if we want to. Or let's connect these. Let's see if there is actually space to connect just one shoot piece. There is. And let's get that as a window. Just so if there's anything jammed, we can see it. So on the stacker then, we want to set this stack size to 1 by default. That's exactly what we want anyway. Because if 2 comes in here, it'll dispense it into 2 lots of 1. All right? Next, we want a sorter. A sorter, I've got one in my backpack. I think I do. That's a stacker. Sorter. Sorter. Okay, now we don't need any fancy electronics with this. We're going to use it in its default mode as essentially the same thing as a splitter in Factorio. Sorry, my mind went blank then. And normally that would mean I have to put it here, but I don't actually want it here. I think I'm going to put it 1 further away, like that. And then we're going to get some more chutes. Let's just grab these. And do we have a corner window variant? Junction, chute bin, in the window. No, the window's only straight. Okay, so corner. And another corner. And then a window. Okay, so that's going to go through here, get split into 1s. It's going to go into the input of the sorter, and the input of the sorter then will naturally dispense 1 at a time, this side, then this side, then this side, then this side. Okay, then all we're really going to do here is go back to a corner, bring it up, and into a window, and we're going to bring it back across. So if 1 wheat coming in gets us 2 coming out, then 1 wheat will always go back around, up, and back into the top. Important. So we'll have a system that will maintain itself, and every time there's a growth period, we get 1 extra wheat. That's the idea. Hopefully that will actually work, but that's the idea anyway. So again, we will just put windows at the top, and the chutes are never great to position. You always have to be a certain distance away to get them, it seems. And then we'll just get a corner piece. Okay, and that seems nice and compact and nicely sort of designed in terms of an interface. So let's just get that then. I'm going to have to remove all of these floor pieces temporarily. Let's just remove them all. Hopefully I don't need to go back that far, but it's entirely possible that I do. All right, and let's just put them in here with these. And then what are we going to do? Well, then let's grab those as well. Then I'm going to use another stacker. And I have another one, coincidentally, or maybe I even designed that. In any case, we have another stacker there. And will that take another chute? I imagine it would. Junction, straight window. There we go. Okay. And this one, we're actually going to set to whatever we want our stack size to. So if I grab my renaming tool and go on here, set this to, I don't know, 50? I'm not sure what wheat stacks to. Let's try it at 50 anyway. So it will stay in this machine. Is that the power and data? Good, it is. So I can run basically power this way and then back to this line here, I think. Yeah, that looks reasonable. Yeah, so that's pretty much everything. So now it will continue into here, into stacks, and when it hits 50, it'll release a stack. And at that point, we can put them wherever we want. You can just dump them into the atmosphere here, or you can put them into a vending machine. I'm going to assume that at this point it's complete. From there on, put them wherever you like. I am going to build another vending machine. I'm just not sure if I have the materials for it at the moment. So let me just connect this up to power first of all. Okay, so now this has power. If we press it on, We'll get an error, but that's okay. So as expected, all of these now have power. There we go. And so they should all be working as we would expect again. So again, here at the front, I'm just going to put in that corner piece to our canister storage. So the canister storage is in here. Let's just actually get this facing... Actually, facing us would be fine. Yep, there we go. And I want to just grab ourselves a canister of something. Let's see what's in this canister. That is the CO2 canister, which is the one I want. And it'll be slowly converted to an O2 canister. So here goes the CO2. Then around the back, we just need to connect up the water. Okay. And will you now be okay? Looks like you're fine with that. And if we check the temperature of these things, temperature of this canister is 34 degrees. What will be interesting to see is what happens to the temperature of that, because remember, in these, plants give out an awful lot of heat. And if that heat goes back into the atmospheric tank, eventually, I don't know, it might blow, but we'd have to try it anyway. So let's get that 1 week that we got before. And then we're just going to shove that into the input slot, which we can't get to at the moment. Let me just start this off by dropping that. Just removing one of the slots. We almost could do with a junction with something that we can dump into this, but... oh, no. No! No! Why is clear? Clear would come out the output slot. This is going to go through the whole system. Let's just press the clear button, see what happens. Really? What am I... Oh, it's not going to be able to plant this... Ah, there it goes. Oh, no! It's clean again! Okay. Push through. Well, we know all the ductwork is working. Please don't. Oh, has that dropped out into this? It probably has. There we go. So we know the... just by sheer stupidity, we know that the this sorter is working perfectly well. So let's put this in here. All right, and then we shall put this back. There we go. I'm not going to bother with window just yet. And then press plant. All right, so let's see what it takes. Lacks hydration, has no atmosphere. It should have all of those anyway. Why would it need sunlight? It has grow lamps. There is no reason that has sunlight. Nor should it lack hydration because we've got water. Nor should it lack atmosphere. Not the correct temperature. Well, it should be. And doesn't have atmosphere. It should. We've got it all. I'm not sure whether maybe something broke it. Let's actually just cycle this and... Ooh, animation. Will that go through our system? Or is it actually going to delete it? Looks like it deletes it. Okay, so in that case, I'm just going to deconstruct this and put it exactly back in the same place, just to see if that is actually the issue. I want the drill. Because it could be bugged, and in that case, I'm going to have to leave it until next episode. So that's... Oh, that would be unfortunate, but... there we go, that's in the same place. I'm going to take these apart again, but that's no big deal. And it's gone back into the system, so... taking apart a duct that's connected to this should not put it into there. It just shouldn't happen. Let's clear this. There it goes. It should pop out of here, hopefully. Oh, really? It fires it that fast? Let's put that through again. It'll go into our stacker. There we go. Hopefully. It fires it out to the end of there so fast. Okay, now this should be fine. So let's clear that again and put this back exactly what it was. That is atmospheric input. It has atmosphere. Not much of it, I'll grant, but maybe we should just pressurize that. We've got plenty of water. That's not an issue. But it wasn't saying just the atmosphere, it was saying everything else, wasn't it? So yeah, I'm going to probably deconstruct those while we debug this. So why don't we just take that one away, and then that should come through, I think, just fine. Yeah, because it should just drop out the end here. It shouldn't go right into the rest of the chute system. Fine. So now we still have all the inputs connected. Let's turn it back on. And let's grab ourselves one more piece of wheat. Split one. Okay, and let's pop that into the back. Plant. Yeah, I don't understand that. Okay, and one reload later, and everything is working. Don't know why, not sure. Just reloading the game was fine. So now the wheat is at stage 3 and growing. So I've set up a couple of logic readers here. One's reading the temperature, although I don't necessarily need temperature, but setting is set to 50 at the moment. I just want to see what happens when this hits stage 4. Can we get any information out of this? So ratios, fair enough. Maximum. It's 100, not sure what that's a maximum of. Ratio 0.5 on, that's 100 watts. Export count, import count, so we can get slot readers to actually do this. So import count is 1. Presumably that means there's something in there. Let's just go back 1. Nothing in the export. Okay. And so let's go back to export count and let's just watch that once it gets to the next stage, and let's see what setting we're going to need to detect. So 50 when it's at stage 3. Will it just go to 60 or something like that? Let's see. Okay, here we are. And we can actually see the contents of the automated hydroponics unit as well, just by pointing at it. So it's got 10 moles of CO2, and we've got a little bit of O2. Fine. So this is now saying stage 4, and it will create 2 wheat. So presumably... yeah, the clear button has changed to harvest now. Okay, so let's take a look at this. What stage is it at? Setting is still 50. Export counts 0. I need some way of detecting that it's actually at stage 4. And if I can't do that, then I can't automate it, which is incredibly annoying. Can't imagine why that would be the case, though. I would have thought there would be something in here. Import count is still set to 1, so that hasn't changed. Open 0, that hasn't changed. Error 0. No. Pressure, temperature, activate is 0. I think that's just the activate button, you know, plant button or something. Setting is 50. Maximum is 100. That's still the same. 0.5 ratio is still the same. Okay, this is going to be very hard to detect when it's finished then. Unless I'm missing something. Here we go. So if we have a look at a slot reader instead of a logic reader, we can read the import slot and its current growth status. So with both of those, we should be able to get the thing that we want. So slot reader, and that's the value of 4. So we can simplify this. Well, I think we need to look at anything else at the moment. So one thing I just wanted to test, if that's the case, is it the activate button, I wonder? So let's just take a look at activate status. It's 0. Okay, let's push the harvest button, and that activate button is now 2. And back to 0. Okay, so we're going to want to set activate to 2 to get this to vend, essentially. And that only gets rid of 1. Interesting. Growth is 4. So we're going to have to actually cycle it twice. And we may have to wait between them. So that's going to be interesting. Is there a quantity here? Growth, class, 11, occupied, yes. Occupant hash, quantity 1. Yes, there is. Okay. So we can get quantity and we can get growth. So we're going to be looking for quantity, and then we'll just harvest. So around that should go, and this one should make it hopefully back up into the system. Oh no, hang on, I forgot to connect. I forgot to get at this bit because it was throwing my duct work in here. So can I actually do this without me trying to insert a duct again? Let's just try and do this. And what's the easiest way to do this? Usually something like grabbing this piece. Okay, there it goes. And can I just drop this in place? And will it go into the system then? Nope. I need to put an import slot there. Fine. We should be able to just... I'm going to have to put this through the system again, aren't I? So let's just try and destroy this without things falling into pieces. There we go. And put that back in. Then we'll put these back in as windows. And then I will connect up this side again. There's a corner. And then I probably just want one more corner piece and everything should be set. Corner, there we go. All right, so hopefully that is that's the main system actually sorted. And that's empty, so we're going to need to detect on something else. So import growth is set to -1, so there's nothing in there. We want to detect, let's see what else we've got in here. Was my tool. So occupied, no. Quantity, this is on the import slot, by the way. Quantity 0. Okay, pretty much nothing in here is worthwhile at the moment. However, is it on here instead? So if we have a look at, not the ratios, the import count is 2. Okay, let's just plant. Is import count 1? No, it's still 2. Not sure what's going on with that either. Okay. But we should be able to detect based on whether things are occupied or not in this side of things. So that will work. And let's just take a look at quantity now. If I can click through to it without clicking past it. Quantity is 1. So we'll have to check simultaneously whether quantity is above 0, i.e. there's something in here, and that the growth is 4. It's 0 at the moment. And this is broken again. Yeah, this is what happens. So this is going to be annoying. It's going to need a reload to actually fix this because it's not actually working. And this won't start working until I reload the game. This is how it's broken on beta at the moment. So should we leave it there, or should I try and do... Well, there's not much I can try and do. Let me just reload one more time and let's see if this whole system works, if we can trigger it properly. Okay, so I've gone and picked up an IC housing and an IC circuit, so we shall use these. And if this is still broken whenever I push this harvest button, in fact it's stage 3, so that will be done soon. If it's broken at that stage, just assume that it'll probably be fixed by the time you actually get to this. But if not, obviously I'll put an update. So let's just start out with something good, like this. So where we're going to put this, I'm just going to put this for here for now. I'm going to grab a computer. I think that's the computer. Yep. And let's open that, put our usual editor circuit board in there. And then we're going to go and get everything else connected. So I'm just going to need our various tools that we normally use, the clippers. So let's just get that sorted. This one, is that going to be a junction? I think that is going to be a 4-way junction. So I must remember not to set that to just a regular junction. That is fine for a regular junction. Okay, and corner, a straight piece. Oh, actually not straight, junction. There we go. And let's just put the junction and a corner in here. There we go. Everything's connected up, and you should be connected to IC housing, which is this one. Let me just see, is there any other in the list? Let me just rename this so that I'm making sure it's the right one, because this is connected to the outside network at the moment. I will cut this off from the outside and connect it to this sub-network for the whole cooling system, probably later. So let's just change this across to automated hydroponics IC housing. Okay, that will do. Yep, this is the right one. So let's just import to clear things. Get the chip ready. We can put that in, and then we need to connect basically our usual pins. So the pins are going to be relatively straightforward to connect in this one. We're actually just going to use these slot readers. We should be able to read directly, but because I've already set these up, I can then look at these values independently whenever we want. This one's already at 4 now, and this quantity is at 1, and that will create 2 wheat. Okay, so let's first of all connect this to hydroponics growth, hydroponics quantity. So hydroponics growth, let's set that to number 0, sorry. Yeah. Hydroponics growth, and hydroponics quantity to D1. So D0, D1, we already have access to those. Okay, and let's write a few bits and pieces of stuff, assuming that I remember my various functions that I can actually use. Alias is it's the string first before the device. So alias input growth is on D0. Alias I quantity is on D1. Okay, that will do fine. And let's just export that. Yeah, and we can see I growth and I quantity. Good. So at least that is functioning. And we have things at stage 4. So we're going to read this in and do a little bit of programming. Not very much though, I don't think. We'll just have to loop through a few times, I think. So, this is almost like a while loop, but we can't really do a while loop. Anyway, I'll write a program. 1 second. Okay, so the first thing to try in here, we're going to just basically bring those 2 values in. I will just rename them in the final program anyway. We can just put them here, hopefully. I growth, there we go. And I quantity. There we go. So both of those are loaded into R0 and R1. Then we're going to say is, and we're going to store in R2, is 3 less than R0, i.e. is 3 less than the current growth stage. So growth stage 1, 3 is not less. Growth S2 and 3, it's still not less. When it hits 4, i.e. it's complete, it is true. So R2 will be true, and then for the moment we can put it in the base device, the setting of R2. So basically the base device now should just read 1. It is. Okay, so that's basically our trigger to say, can we now hit the activate button, hopefully. And hopefully activate is the button we actually need to. So we're probably going to need to link to the automated hydroponics itself. And let's put it on the last one, so D5. Automated hydroponics is going to be in here, automated hydroponics, so D5. And let's just edit this to say that, basically. Alias O hydroponics is D5. All right, so we know what that is. So the first thing I'm going to try here is to essentially change this line just to try and store it to, so we're going to say D5, and we're going to change the activate setting, activate, to R2, and R2 again should be this 1 or 0. Then what I'm going to do is just delete a line. I'm going to just see whether we can do multiple yields, so to basically do just wait, a few ticks. Okay, and let's just put 6 in there. So that should be 3 seconds or so, and then jump back to the start, and it's going to assess whether it's still in growth stage 4, and it's going to push the button again, ideally. Confirm, and let's see if the whole system breaks now, or that may come up with an error, but let's give it a go. Export, and have you... Oh, that's done something. Well, it's continually pushing the activate button, but that's not exactly doing it what I expect. In fact, I'm not even sure what it's doing. It's never leaving the device. So which is the activate button here? It's getting pushed every 3 seconds. Let's actually just stop that, shall we? And let's see what happens. Okay, that's fine. Do we also need to check another value? Interesting. Let's just extend this and let's see whether actually I can continue to extend it just by adding seconds onto this. Yield, that's another couple of seconds. I don't know whether it's actually the activate property that we need to do here. We could also try harvest, but I'm not sure if that's the case. I'm not sure if that's accessible. Let's see, is harvest actually recognized? Looks like it is. So let's give that a go. Confirm. Export. Is anything happening? That is the harvest button. Oh, I forgot not turn it back on. Turn on. Okay, will that get rid of view? That looks like it is doing something now. Okay, that's going around. And it's back to empty again. Things are queued up. So what we then want to try and do is if it's empty, what's the growth stage? Growth is -1. Okay, so we need something that also checks for growth -1 first, and then sets something else if that's the case. Okay, so here we're going to basically do the same thing. Is R0 less than 0? Is it -1, for example? Okay, so then we can store D5, and let's see, is it the activate button? I'm going to try that. Or plant, maybe. We'll see in a short while. And we're just going to put R3 into it. Then, if that's the case, we want to then jump over this. So, yeah, I'm going to need a jump instruction. And that should also be fairly straightforward. We see we've got this here, branch to line B if A is less than 0. Okay, and that's pretty much what we've got. So branch to line B. And in this case, let's see. So A, what we're looking for is less than 0, is going to be R0 in this case. And then we're going to jump to line 12. So it's going to go through here. Is this 1 or 0, basically? And then activate will be set to whichever one it is. That will probably be 0 most of the time, so nothing will happen. And if it is less than 0, it'll jump to line 12. But most of the time, it'll then jump to here. Are we, above 3 growth stage? It will then try and harvest it, and then I assume that these will actually work. Let's see what it says for yield. Pauses execution for 1 tick. So this slows it down. If there's another way of doing that, or if this is stupid, then let me know. Happy to know about it. But from here, then it will try and harvest. So let's just confirm this and export. And is it actually bringing it in? Looks like it's doing something. We have stuff in the import slot. That's not quite working yet. So it's not activate, maybe it's plant. Let's take a look at this. So let's take plant. Okay. Confirm, export, and let's see what it does now. It's going to take it a few seconds to cycle through. Oh, no. Development console's popped up. Object reference not to send to instance of an object. Maybe that's a problem. Let me stop this. And we're just about run out of time for today, but I think there may be something wacky with the slots. See, this isn't even letting me push the button manually here. And I've got the chip off for the moment, and I've got it set to activate. But it's fine if I set it to growth as well. It still doesn't actually do anything. So even if it is trying to push that button, if I can't push it manually, then, there's nothing much I can do to push it automatically. So there is a plant right there. And it is, I guess that's closed at the moment, is it? Let's take a look. I don't want to necessarily look at this. We don't actually need quantity at the moment. Let's just change this over. Damage, efficiency, health, growth, class, occupied. occupied, 0, nothing occupied. Quantity, damage, nothing really in here that I can actually use. Growth, -1. No. So let's just make sure I set that back to what I actually wanted it. Quantity, isn't it? So let's go quantity. There we go. So yeah, there may be something broken about this. If I turn it back on, it will continue to try to activate. You'll see the animation goes through, but it's not pulling in anything new. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Do let me know in the comments below, and I'll probably just do an update at the start of next episode if I can get it working, or if there's a fix to this. It's pretty much working otherwise, because we've got this program, and just so you can see the whole program at the moment, you know, whether we set this to activate, whether we set it to plant, shouldn't matter for this program. All we're really doing is reading in the values. Is it less than 0, which means we need to activate it or plant it? And I've just exported the setting on line 9 just to the base device so I can see it. That's not essential at all. Branch to line 13 if R0, depending on what R0's value is. And then we go on to the harvesting stuff. So this should be all okay now, aside from the fact the machine is a bit wonky at the moment. So I will leave that, and by all means, feel free to try it yourself. And the start of the next episode, we'll do an update and see if that actually will finally work. However, even just doing it manually, or indeed we're doing it automatically with this, we do already have crops. And we've got 2. So that's put the ones back that I ended up getting rid of, and we've got another one in the ductwork here. So we do have a working system. It just needs the last few bugs ironed out, and hopefully we'll get that sorted in the next few days on the beta branch. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. It seems like a decent system, and it's certainly much better than having these or the originals in there. Let me just show you the contents of the tanks before I sign off, just so you can see what effect this has had. So very little O2 out of this tank, well, in this tank I should say, and in there you'll also see there's O2, a little bit. They're both at 34.9, which is the same as this room. So if heat leaks into this room, we already have a temperature control system, so there's no problem there. And here's the water. Okay, so just so you can compare that as well. That's actually quite warm, slightly warmer than the room in fact. So yeah, we're pretty good, I think. Okay, so I will leave that till the next episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, share. I may already have said all that. If I have, I apologise. You shouldn't say that more than once in a video. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.